Goes back to his left. Crusade turns him inside out. Mika Crusade! He has given them a chance to win this game. They are down by one. Kick to come. All eyes now shift to Hagen Schulte. A kick to win it for the Warriors after the final whistle.
That we've seen the fracture in the defense. Roberts Tanana comes out, shoots out of the line, creates the space there.
Schulte did make the kick, and the Utah Warriors win. Welcome to Dub Nation, your hub for everything Utah Warriors of Major League Rugby. What a finish to the Old Glory DC game on Saturday. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I am Jeremy Jordan alongside Banksy. What a game Saturday night in front of a packed stadium at Zions Bank Stadium.
I'm going to have to go see my doctor and get on some blood pressure medication. The Warriors keep doing this to me. Not over watching that finish. Not over seeing Mika Crusade take that gap. Not over seeing Hagen Schulte slot the conversion. What a great game.
We have a lot to discuss, and Dan Power called it the MLR game of the season. How about that?
That's a guy that's seen a lot of rugby and been a lot of places. He said it was the most entertaining, and I think I agree with him. It was the most honest game of rugby that we've seen on all levels so far from MLR this year.
We'll break it all down. We'll talk to the player of the week in MLR as well, Aston Fortine, coming up. We are live on the Utah Warriors Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts, on demand on KSLSports.com, the KSL Sports app, the KSL TV app, and rebroadcast Thursday nights on ESPN 700, 960, and the app as well. Give us a like, share the show, follow the Utah Warriors on social media. If you have a comment, you can fire away. We'll try and get to some of those throughout the program. And per the norm, if you're new to the program, we always give out swag. We're always handing out stuff. So what are we giving away today?
We got to make sure that Dub Nation looks sharp when you show up over at the Zebra. So another Belichick hoodie. You want the short sleeve hoodie?
Ooh.
We got one for you. All you have to do is share the show on Facebook, retweet the post of the game on Twitter. Make sure you tag your friends. Hashtag Utah Warriors, hashtag Dub Nation, hashtag For the Nation, and get you the Belichick ready to go.
I need the Belichick. I've got to talk to somebody. I need that one. I think that'd look good at this point of the year. You know what I'm saying?
It's fine because it's hoodie weather technically, but, you know, you want to rock the sun's out, guns out look.
Yeah, I just need the guns to rock. I got to work on that part. Okay, here's what's on the rundown today. The amazing win versus DC. We will recap all angles, dissect it. It's going to be awesome. Scores from around MLR. Down go the LA Guiltinis for the first time this season. Okay. The circle of parity, by the way, we'll talk about. Look who's second in all of MLR right now. Hey-oh. Preview the matchup with the league-leading and now defeated LA Guiltinis in SoFi Stadium. That's where the Chargers and Rams play. This is the greatest stadium, perhaps in the world at the moment. And Utah is going to be a part of the first game in there with fans. Are you kidding me? We'll chat with the MLR Player of the Week, Aston Fortine, and today's Rugby 101 discusses drop goals. And to do so in our recap, let's bring in Ashley Burge, the Eagle with the 7s, the 15s. She's from Harriman, Utah. She knows what's up. She is an analyst and sideline reporter with the Utah Warriors with us. Ashley, what a game we had. Like, that game was so entertaining. I was on the road watching BYU men's volleyball, unfortunately lose the national championship. But I go back to the hotel, and I plug in the last 20 minutes, and I'm, like, sweating watching this thing, and it ended really well.
It's probably a good thing that Banksy and I aren't on camera because I'm up, I'm moving, I'm standing in the chair, I'm, like, holding the glass. I was on my toes from minute one till the last minute of the game, which was, 83 minutes? That was some fun rugby. I think, Banksy, you put it very well. That was an honest game of rugby. And, we had – both sides of the game had to work very hard to score in that game. And that's something we haven't seen all the time, in this league. So it
was an incredible showing. It really was. The crowd was amazing. It came down to the wire. So let's talk about the play that we showed to start the show. So Utah's got the ball, by the way, for the final 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Penalties, lineouts, penalties, maul, a million phases. And then Hagen Schulte starts to go to his right, and then he looks and he's like, nah, this ain't working. He goes to his left. Mika Crusade gets it. There's a breakdown there, which typically happens when Mika has the ball. He's just hard to defend. And then all of a sudden, he dots it down. And then this was important, too. It wasn't just that the Warriors had to score. They had to give Hagen Schulte a shot to make the conversion. And so Crusade jumps inside. He might have even gotten hurt on this play. I don't know what the story is there, but Schulte, of course, bangs it home, and Utah wins. That was a heck of a play. That right now is the play of the year to me on this team. It was a huge win.
Yeah, we actually saw that happen, 2 or 3 times in the game when Hagen Schulte got the ball in the middle of the field and he had to switch directions because nothing was on because, both sides of the field, the defense was really honest in this game. That each team would hold the ball for 6, 7, 8 phases and they would almost be losing, meters unless Aston or Yuri was carrying the ball and breaking the gain line 89 and 67% of the game. It seemed to be like we were getting pushed backwards and backwards and backwards. And so Hagen would look up. It would be a very strict, honest line of defense. And he would have to try to create something. And, Mika's eyes were just wide open on that defender shooting. And that was great heads up play.
Banksy, what did you see in this one? Because you called it an honest game of rugby. It was tight the entire time. And, Old Glory DC takes the lead. Utah takes the lead. Old Glory DC takes it back. A missed conversion would have made it a 2-score game. That was big late from Jason Robertson. But then Utah had a chance late and was able to keep possession and eventually score.
I got a chance to be down in the tunnel when the captains did the coin toss with head referee Scott Green, and both of them wanted the same things. The captain said we wanted to play fast. We want everything clean around the breakdown, and we want to play go forward rugby. And Scott Green said, all right, you're going to get what you want. And he called the match right down the middle. It's the first time we've seen a referee really not mess it up this year, and especially in some of those crucial moments. I'm not going to say the referees have caused an effect on the outcome of the game, but it was the first time that
Seattle did.
he was really just an integral part of the game that let these two teams go after each other, and they did that. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times we saw both of these sides put over 10 phases of continuous play together and just hammer away and not really gain much more than 10 meters out of it. Both of these defenses were ferocious. They had to be creative on attack. You had to be incredibly opportunistic with where you took your chances. And it went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. For me, like as a rugby purist, I think that was about as entertaining a game of rugby as we've seen. There's been higher scoring games. There's been more exciting games, but this was a rugby fan's game of rugby.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was,
and I mean,
it was beautiful.
looking at the set pieces too, I'd be interested to look at the set piece stats because it wasn't the best set piece game. The phase play was able to string together over and over and over, but both sides of the field were consistently losing set pieces, getting penalties at set pieces, which ended up being, one of the Warriors' tries after, 4 mauls in a row that continually were being penalized and having to restart. So set pieces were an actual, there we go, a major flaw in this game, which we're calling an honest, good game of rugby. So it's very interesting, to look at both sides of that.
Yeah, you see the lineout percentage is really low, and Utah loses the San Diego Legion game on the road because the lineout stunk. But in this game, technically it's lost 35% of the time, which is a massive number. But in the end, Utah made up for it. And let's start by talking about a play that really sticks out, especially early, and it happened multiple times. The ability to tackle DC into touch before they score a try. That happened with Calvin Whiting once. Joe Mano gets tackled in on the other side of this. I mean, this Calvin Whiting tackle was the defensive play of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's just incredible effort. And in a close game like that, we see that a lot of times on the offensive side of the ball, especially from our back three. I speak about that a lot, when we're watching the games. That these boys just work hard even when they didn't necessarily have to. When you see a break like that, that's one of those moments that you could sit back and be like, dang, he scored. And you're not necessarily wrong, but that extra effort, is what sets apart good players from great players. And moments like that are what saved this game for the Utah Warriors. And, it just sets us apart as a team.
It was a big play in this game. It really was. So I want to recap some of the scoring. So Josh Whippy's steal and try was incredible as well. Dylan Taikato Simpson, first try of the game. This is a 55-meter try. That's rare in Major League Rugby to get that kind of distance. I'm thinking Fraser Hurst's try from midfield and this, I think, are the longest tries of the season. This was incredible. The step inside, and then Josh Whippy was that flow was beautiful in the breeze, Banksy.
I feel like he was shaking it a bit extra because he knew what had just happened. He sat in the passing lane. They had the 2-on-1 on the outside. So he knew right here, you see, he's got the 2-on-1 on the outside. He had to sit and make that pass, and the soft hand's able to come up with it. And then the quick step to the inside was fantastic. And then Lance Williams was there on the chaser. Tuvere Vungakoto, you'll see, was there on the outside. And he didn't need him, man. Just finishing it the whole way.
We saw a drop goal in this game as well, by the way, which doesn't happen all that often. Jason Robertson, who is a capable kicker, one of the best in the league. They use him a lot. About 40 meters out. I mean, that had some distance on it, Ashley.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like out of nowhere. I don't think anybody saw it coming. I'm not even sure if he knew he was doing it till it was like through the post. We all kind of stood there for a second. I don't even think we spoke for like 5 seconds. We both kind of looked at each other like, did that really just happen? You know, and in a close game like that, you would think that that's almost risky. I guess not when, you know, you're that confident in your boot. But I was just not expecting it. I was caught off guard, but it was exciting. That's something that, you know, especially fans here in Utah, they still don't completely know the game of rugby. So it was really cool to see something like that, you know, and everybody that's learning this game gets to experience all these new rules and things that they may not have even known about that. I don't even think some of our staff or, you know, people that are new knew what happened. And so it was awesome to grow, you know, just the knowledge of rugby to see something cool like that happen in the game.
You know, and he had just missed the conversion on the try before too. So I think he found himself in that setup. You'll see he's kind of behind the run of play by about 7 meters and the ball comes to him. We called it out in the preview for the game last week that he was going to have to be a bigger factor and a playmaker. He really stepped up to the plate and thought, you know what? I missed the conversion. Let's have a go here. We're back in the Warriors half, and then just bombed it. And, I mean, it was impressive. I think it may be only second or third drop goal we've seen in-game in Major League Rugby this year, and he picked an opportune time to really give his team the lift there.
So it took me a sec to remember the second try-saving tackle. DC does score a minute later. But in the moment, Chad Goff made another one as well. Danny Tusitala, one of the best scrum halves in the league, gets tackled into touch, and that could have, in that moment, swung it. Again, DC scores soon thereafter, but what other hooker in the league is chasing Danny Tusitala down?
A front three player going 40, 50 meters across the field. I mean, Chad Goff was just an incredible addition to the Utah Warriors. You know, he's been on the Gorilla squad, but every single time he's came into the game, you know, he made the turnover in the ruck in the first game that he got in, this try-saving tackle. Like, you know, when you're trying to prove yourself, you are doing a dang good job. That is just effort, and that is a big man to be hucking somebody down the field. I was thoroughly impressed.
That was fantastic. So then we get, it's late. It's the 73rd minute. There's a line out. There's a maul. Stan South scores for DC. Utah misses where the maul is happening. It just collapses and then, comes off the side and DC scores. So Utah's down 6 with 7 minutes left in the game. The Warriors get the ball and hold it for 9 straight minutes, eventually resulting in the Mika Kruse try. But Utah's ability to maintain possession, not knock it on, not have a turnover, keep that going, because there was a nice run from Mika Kruse, at about 79-30, 30 seconds ago, he gets down to like a foot, and it doesn't come for 3 minutes. So that patience was notable. And then eventually Hagen Schulte, he has to make that kick. You've been in some pressure situations, Ashley. What is that like when Hagen Schulte is lining up for that? Because, yes, it's an easy one, but it's for the game.
Yeah, well, before that, I mean, even looking at it as a 9 for Fraser Hurst, that's a pressureful situation to come in, and we haven't seen, him execute that before. So I was very impressed with him controlling the tempo of the game, at those last couple minutes. But with Hagen, it's just about like consistency in your process. It doesn't matter if it's minute 1 or if it's minute 83 and the kicking conversion to win the game. Your process should still be the same, and that just shows a good, skilled veteran rugby player to be able to go through those steps. There's a lot of times that can get in your head and it can stop doing, it can stop you from doing what you're used to doing. But he's a great kicker and he consistently makes his kicks. So truly, if he's able to just kind of shut out the pressure of the game, it's the same process, it's the same steps, it's the same, as all of his other kicks. So it's just impressive. Shows a very clear mind that he's able to find. So
Big Buddha gets them all quiet for Hagen to kick it, and then it blasted the upright. It was a really cool moment, and the Utah Warriors, back-to-back dubs, beating Houston dramatically, bye week, beating DC after, so on a win streak now, and then a big game with LA. We're going to preview that coming up a little bit later, but Ashley, your thoughts on the matchup this week with LA in SoFi Stadium. First game with fans in that venue, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. LA got their first loss of the season, so they're going to come back fighting hard. But guess what? The Warriors just won 2 in a row, so they're feeling hot. They're feeling good too. And I think it's going to be a great matchup between both teams. That environment, is going to be incredible just to be in, and that's going to fire both teams up, and that can make you crack, and that can make you play well. So I think it's just going to be about who can, treat it like any other game, even given this incredible opportunity and situation that they're in. And I think it'll be another, hopefully not till the 83rd minute, but another great, on your toes type of match.
Okay, let's finish with this. First 15 came out from the league, and 3 Warriors were on it. Olivi Khalifi is, there at prop. 8 carries, 45 meters for him, 17 record rivals. Aston Fortin was incredible. We're going to talk to him coming up. He's actually the player of the week in the league. And then Mikey Teo doing his thing, 17 carries for 141 meters, 5 broken tackles, 6 kicks for 191 meters. And Mikey happens to be a special player in your family, is he not?
He is very much loved by my family, particularly my grandma, Granny. She's watching the show. I think she might have stolen her heart as the new favorite rugby player. I might be out and he might be in, so.
Don't be shy. Grandma wrote you a birthday card.
My grandma wrote me a birthday card. I just got it in the mail today, and I'm going to read it to you.
Your birthday's next Tuesday, by the way.
Tuesday, so she's a little early. And it's my birthday, not Mikey's, and this is what I get in the mail, okay? May your day be filled with lots of cake and yummy ice cream, too. May your dreams remain as super big as Mikey Teo's shoes. That's my birthday. That's all I get. So happy birthday almost to me, and congratulations, Mikey. You have a new #1 fan.
That's awesome. That's so good.
I'm shedding it's so beautiful. It's absolute. I mean, that's Shakespeare level greatness is what that is.
Great.
Grandma's a wordsmith. Yeah. Okay. Before we let you go, we have a couple comments from people. Let's get to these. Daryl McCormick, great game, great crowd too. Well done, Utah fans. Go Warriors, beat Hollywood, LA. Mikey. Yeah, agree on all of those. And then Michael Omorcho. Sorry if I'm not saying that correctly. Can't say enough about this game. Thrilling all the way and then some. This rugby is pure entertainment. Are we taking bets if Hagen's big boot can hit the roof at SoFi? We'll see if it's that strong. But, yeah, great stuff. We appreciate the comments. Continue to weigh in if you have a question or comment, and we'll try and get to those throughout the program. So, Ashley, thank you for your time. Happy birthday next Tuesday, by the way. Yes, and you and Banksy on the call on the radio this Saturday for LA and Utah. It should be a good one. We appreciate your time, Ashley, as always.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
It's Ashley Burge recapping what happened against DC. She does such a great job for us. We love having Ashley involved on the show and in the broadcast. So yeah, big win versus DC, and now we move on. Now we move on, baby.
It's fun calling games with Ashley. She has such a wealth of experience, and she's such an incredibly knowledgeable rugby player, and she's just a rad little human. So it's great to be able to call games with her and have her involved, not just from the commentating point of view as well, but she's one of our academy coaches for the Utah Warriors in that Pathway program. She's one of the coaches that you're likely to interact with if you sign up for that Junior Warriors program and get your kids involved in Utah Warriors rugby. If you want to be exposed at the earliest levels, get your youth involved, become a Junior Warrior, sign up for our upcoming clinics. They're 2 hours before home games. They're only $25 to get your kids involved, and you get access to coaches, players, clinics, drills, the basics of the game, and if your kid's a little more advanced, a chance to ask some of those questions of some of your favorite players and staff on the Utah Warriors as well. Go to warriorsrugby.com if you want to get more.
Okay, Week 8 scores. This was an amazing week in Major League Rugby. Every game was decided by one score. It was unbelievable. Okay, New England upsets Austin 22-18. Austin was up 11 twice, but New England ends up getting the win, and that was big because the Warriors vaulted in front of Austin.
It was a great win for us as Dub Nation to see the Gilgronis go down, and full credit to New England for not buckling. I mean, twice they've gone down by multiple scores and stayed with it and really showed their professionalism and the class of that team and what they've become, and been able to pull off of that win against the then #2 seed in the West.
NOLA beats Houston 28-26. Nikola Bursic scored the game-tying try. Then Timothy Guillemin makes a conversion to win. That went down to the wire as well, like all of these will.
That was another big physical statement from NOLA. They went right at Houston with the maul with their forward pack several times and had the wheels rolling on that thing, man. That was really good work from that forward pack in a big physical game.
The Fire and Ice Cup goes to the Fire. Rugby ATL beat Toronto 33-29. Ross Deacon try in stoppage time won it, just like Utah needed one late.
That was another one that was back and forth, and you kind of had the feeling whoever had the ball in their hands in the final minutes was going to end up walking away with it, whether it be a try or a penalty to make the difference, and that was the tale of the tape.
Okay, and then the big one in the league is that LA Giltinis didn't score 40, lost to Rugby United New York 18-16. LA going all the way over there, right? Giltinis held to 16. Rooney scored 18 points, all on penalty goals. Not a single try in this game. Dan Hollinshead made 6. Giltinis passed up points multiple times, even made a kick that looked like it missed, but it was awarded. So a little drama there. But ultimately, LA goes down for the first time.
You know, it started from the very first whistle for Rooney at the get-go. It was a little shaky. The first 2 minutes were all spent right around midway, but you could tell the physical statement that Rooney was trying to make against LA. They immediately met them at the gain line. At one point, I think there was a line out for LA early in the first half on the 22-meter line for Rooney. And 7 phases later, they were back near halfway, going backwards with sustained phase play. So the big physical statement on how you match up with a fast team like that, they attacked the breakdown. They did everything that they needed to do to come away with a big win.
Much more on the Giltinis coming up in our preview of that game with the Utah Warriors later on. And last but not least, Seattle beats San Diego 21-15. Seattle's second win of the season. New signing AJ Alatimu for the injured Ben Sema, who's out 9 weeks, by the way. Big injury there. Made 3 penalty goals, a conversion to win the game for Seattle.
And that was really just rugby leadership, the addition of Alatimu and his direction for that back line. We know there's skill all over the rugby field with those guys, and they can prepare a good game plan. And now to have somebody with the IQ that Alatimu does, with Sema being out, to be able to drive them around the field clearly made a difference on the scoreboard there.
Okay, MLR tweeted out an amazing, amazing graphic, the circle of parity. So basically, everyone's beaten everyone who's beaten everyone, question mark. So just start where Utah is, right? Utah beats Old Glory, who beats New England, who beats Houston, who beats San Diego, who beats Austin, who beats and so on and so forth. So this is great. And I think it speaks to, hey, listen, yes, LA is the best team in the league. It's clear that that's the case. They have now lost. But anyone can beat anyone.
We talked about this in all of our preseason build-ups as well. There's no easy games in Major League Rugby. There's so much talent, both domestically and internationally, that's been added to these teams. So many teams continue to sign international talent, like Seattle we just mentioned with Alatimu, and many, many more, that there are no easy games. And this season is going to be won or lost. I'm still 100% convinced by your road record. Can you go on the road and steal a game from one of these teams in their own house and then come back and protect your own home field? And that circle of parity really there is what it's all about, man. It's teams protecting home field and then going on the road and trying to get a good one. Okay,
let's whip through the standings quickly here. LA still on top of the league and the Western Conference by 7. But guess what? If Utah, is able to win this week and get a bonus point, that could be chipped down to 4 points, maybe 5 this week. We'll see. Or 2 or 3. Utah in second now with Austin going down, and the West shaping up to be what looks like a 3-horse race. But again, we're not even halfway through quite yet of the 16-game season, so there's a lot of rugby to be played.
Well, and a crucial couple weeks for Dub Nation as well. The Warriors go on the road to LA, playing that first match ever in SoFi Stadium, and then they come home for the Gilgronis at Zions Bank Stadium. So you're talking about the next 2 weeks. We've got the top 3 teams in action back-to-back weeks here. This could settle who ends up going into the playoffs in the West, because if this shakes out, depending on who stays at number 2 and you win out or stay competitive the rest of the way through, that could be it with these top-of-the-table battles here in the next 2 weeks already.
Eastern Conference, NOLA on top of Rooney by a point, followed by the Free Jacks, Rugby ATL, Toronto, and then Old Glory DC. It is stacked in the East as well. Okay, we do this each week. I've limited it to the top 5 now, but let's run through some of the statistical leaders. And we'll talk to Austin Fortine coming up in a minute as well and preview the match with LA. Utah Warriors players in the Major League Rugby top 5. Hagen Schulte is first in kicks, kicking meters, third in conversions, points, tied for fourth in penalty goals. He continues to be awesome. Angus McClellan, third in dominant tackles. Mikey Teo, third in running meters, tackles, tackle breaks, fifth in carries. Bailey Wilson, third in dominant tackles, fourth in lineout steals. When you're second in the league, you have a lot of these guys. How about Joe Mono, fourth in line breaks with 11? He hasn't played every game, but he's fourth in line breaks. Yuri Van Buren, fourth in ruck arrivals. And Austin Fortine, second in lineout steals and fourth in lineout takes. There's a lot of talent on this team. I dare say the best Utah Warriors team we've seen yet in year 4.
It's really dynamic across the board from 1 to 15. I mean, you've got to give right now for me, the player of the year award goes to Gus McClellan. I mean, you're talking about a guy that hasn't had a lot of rest, that hasn't had a lot of off weeks. This guy has shown up with the arrival of Ali Khalifi, with the arrival of Paul Mullins, and just balled his brains out and just played elite level rugby from the get-go. He's physical. He's been dominant at the scrums. It is unbelievable what this guy is doing, and it doesn't go unnoticed by other prop forwards. Angus, I see you, buddy. Keep it up, man, because what you're doing is incredible, brother.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Okay, that rounds out some of the top 5 guys in the league.
The Utah Warriors want to find and develop talent from around the entire country. We are committed to domestic rugby here in the United States. We do it locally with our Pathways program. And now we've got combines that we're going coast to coast to come to you if you want to be part of Dub Nation and get your eyes in front of the scouts. So make your plans in June and July. We've got pro days coming to Tucson, Arizona, St. Louis, Missouri, Philippi, West Virginia, Brighton, Michigan, and then right home here in our very own backyard in Salt Lake City. If you want to attend and get more, go to warriorsrugby.com. You must be MLR College Draft eligible to be able to participate, so make sure you hit up warriorsrugby.com.
Okay, games this week. Let's start Saturday, and then there's one Sunday game. Toronto at Houston. Who you got in that one?
I don't know. There's no guessing it. There's no putting at this point. I don't know what's going to happen because 2 weeks ago we were looking at Toronto at the top of the table and thinking they had found form. Houston's gone zeros on the scoreboard twice, but they've also put up almost 40 twice. It all depends on what team shows up on the day. They're playing in Houston, so I'm going to give the tip to Houston. They're playing at home.
Rooney at Austin. That's a massive one. That's number 2 in the East, number 3 in the West.
Rooney doing what the Utah Warriors have to do, battling the Gilgronis and the Giltinis in back-to-back weeks. So maybe some telling stuff as we look ahead to what our friends on the East Coast are doing here. It's tough, man. I mean, you're going to have to play an incredibly physical match again if you're Rooney against those Gilgronis in Austin. That game is decided by single digits, and I don't know who.
If Rooney has anything left after beating the Giltinis, I'll be shocked. Like, I'm just guessing they were all in on that one. That's the win of the year in Major League Rugby, obviously. They don't have to even show up this week. They already got the biggest win. Okay, New England at Rugby ATL.
I'm giving this one to Rugby ATL at home. You know, Rugby ATL coming off of the big win in their Fire and Ice Cup. They're a team with a bit of a hot hand right now and a chance to start controlling their own destiny in the East. The Eastern Conference is wide open, and I think this is a chance for some separation for them.
NOLA at San Diego.
Going to go with NOLA here, top of the table in the East and playing good rugby. You know, they don't have a lot of the big names that some of these other clubs do. They're playing good physical team rugby right now.
And Seattle at Old Glory on Sunday.
Traveling's tough, and we've seen it from a lot of these other teams having to go coast to coast. A still depleted Seattle Seawolves headed to Old Glory. Old Glory is going to be licking their wounds and happy to be back at home. Old Glory by 7.
Okay, stay with us. We're moments away from chatting with Austin Fortine, the MLR Player of the Week at Lock. He is legit. Okay, let's preview the matchup with the LA Giltinis. Saturday, May 15th in LA at SoFi Stadium, 8 Mountain Time on FS2 on TV, ESPN 700 and 960 on the radio. You and Ashley will have the call. Obviously, the venue is a massive story in this one. This is the home of the Rams and Chargers of the NFL. And shout out to Adam Gilchrist for shelling out the coin to make this happen. This is going to be fun for both these teams to be in this venue, playing a game in front of fans. They did not play in front of fans during the NFL season. So this is the first sporting event in there in front of fans ever. That's pretty cool.
That building is incredible. It may be the most technologically advanced stadium in the world right now, and I'm talking Raiders Stadium and Dallas included in anything else that's going on overseas. That building is absolutely incredible. It'll be great to see rugby played in a venue like that, showcased for all of America.
Okay, Giltinis are 6-1, coming off the loss, 31 points, 7 more than anybody, plus 144 in point differential. Plus 95 on the next closest team, which is Austin. Shout out to Adam Gilchrist again. His 2 teams have been awesome. But can Utah slow LA down like Rooney did is the question.
You can, and it's kind of the MO for beating any team full of Australians. We see it in Super Rugby. We see it in a lot of the international test matches. When a lot of these Polynesian teams come in, I'm thinking upset wins by Tonga and Samoa over the last 10 years. Basically, when the whistle blows, you have to punch them in the mouth and then be physical for 80-plus minutes and half second, or they will take advantage of you. It's the way South Africa won a World Cup. It starts with ruthless, violent defense, and it has to carry the entire match. You have to be completely committed to it. That's the only way to beat a team like this.
When you said ruthless and violent, I had 5 dudes pop into my head. You know what I mean? Like,
I know a few of those guys.
Yuri Van Buren, Angus McClellan. You know, all
Ollie Khalifi, Lance Williams,
yes.
Bailey Wilson in the open field.
All these
the
guys.
Defensive work of Calvin Whiting cannot be understated. This entire season, Calvin has been such a lock at the 12 position that teams have just stopped attacking his gap. That's how dominant he's been at that position. Teams are pushing to the 13 gap and not attacking the 10-12 gap because Calvin's just so good in that space. He's going to have to be with somebody like Adam Ashley Cooper playing center this week for the LA Giltinis.
So 3 of the top 4 scorers in the league in terms of tries are on this group. DTH Vandermeer is unbelievable. He continues to get into the try zone. Angus Cottrell, Harrison Goddard, the scrum half, incredible. Matt Gattel, of course, Wallaby, second in MLR in conversion, 8th in points. These guys are legit. They really are. Glenn Bryce, 10th in running meters. They've got speed and power, and again, they're the best team in the league, hands down. They're coming off a loss, but I'm interested to see if Utah can go in there and not only hang, but pull off an upset like Rooney did. Certainly, LA will be motivated coming off a loss, so that should be interesting. But okay, you talked about the physicality. What else needs to happen for Utah to pull off the upset here?
They're going to have to be dynamic in the back 3, and I think that's really where the biggest opportunity comes. You've got to shut down this forward pack and attack the breakdown quickly to slow their ball down. Otherwise, you end up with Vandermeer just running into gaps and running rampant and running wild on you. Last week against Old Glory DC, they had a team full of experienced Kiwis. I think 7 Kiwis starting on that team with Super Rugby or NPC experience. It's almost the exact opposite now with the LA Giltinis and a stacked side full of Australian experience and some Scotland experience in there. They've got a couple of Flyers on that team that have played for the Scotland National Sevens program. So this is a team built on speed. They want to play fast from the breakdown. They want to play that sideline to sideline Southern Hemisphere style that's really attractive to rugby fans. You score a lot of points doing it, but you beat it by violent, ruthless defense.
Okay, that's coming up Saturday night at SoFi Stadium in LA, 8 Mountain Time, FS2, on the radio, ESPN 960 and 700 as well.
Join us and make sure that you're there for that game. Dub Nation, we need you to be ready, to make your voice heard. Share the game out. Let your friends know what's going on. This is a big moment for the Warriors playing at this stadium against, this is 1 and 2 in the West right now, with all of it to play for right now.
Absolutely. And join us coming up in a couple of weeks at home as well for when the Utah Warriors take on the Austin Gilgronis. As you mentioned, it's LA and then it's Austin. So that'll be a big one. You can get tickets at warriorsrugby.com. Okay, let's bring in the MLR Player of the Week. Aston Fortine, a lock. He had 9 carries for 45 meters, a tackle break and offload, 33 ruck arrivals, and a try. And he will help us recap the game against DC and preview against LA. Aston, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, congratulations on the win against DC. What a dramatic, amazing game. And it was part of an amazing week in Major League Rugby. How would you sum up how Saturday night went for you and the boys?
It was definitely an emotional night. It was great getting the W. Yeah, unfortunately, oh well, fortunately, it happened in the last minute. Kept the Warriors Nation a bit worried there. But yeah, it was vital to get the W after the bye week, just to keep the momentum going. After that amazing win against Houston. And there's two tough games coming up. We 2 games on the road now, so just to keep the momentum going was absolutely brilliant.
Your ability, along with the rest of that forward pack, to control phase play. You guys had some poise under pressure over and over and over again that I don't think we've seen that kind of maturity out of this forward pack. I mean, take me through that moment where you guys line out and maul it at DC 4 different times. You win the line out every single time, the maul sets. Where's your headspace in that where you're like, here we go, we got to do this again?
Yeah, we've used our lineout and our maul especially as a weapon this season. It's been a big major weapon for us. So as soon as we got into the 22, I think we got a penalty and Hagen grabbed the ball. He said we're gonna go maul them now, and yeah, we had 2-3 bites at them. They got a yellow card, and then that's when we knew this is where they're gonna crack, and that's what they did, and we got the penalty try, luckily.
What was that moment like in the in stoppage time where hey, we got to hold on to the ball. We can't commit a penalty. You guys end up having possession for 9 minutes to end the game, which is just insane. And then Hagen makes a great choice to go left, and it's always a great choice to get Mika the ball. And he dots it down, and then Hagen punches it in.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember they had just scored a try, and we sort of just got the ball back. I looked at the time; it was 73 minutes. And by the time we had the last scrum, taking down for the last scrum, I looked at the clock; it was 81. I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But yeah, it was unbelievable. We went 16 phases, got a penalty, kicked it out. Went 14 phases, got the scrum, and then we went 5 phases before Mika dotted it down. And Sean Davies, our attack coach, he prides ourselves, or we pride ourselves on building phases as attack and just holding on to the ball. So that was something very special from us.
35 to finish the game. That's unbelievable, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it's something that we've been looking to do throughout the season. We went. I think 16 is the most we've gone this season, but there's been multiple times where we've gone 5+ phases, and that's sort of what we want to become, sort of a possession focus aside this season.
So talk about your ability to score with the ball in your hand. It seems like there's a really great chemistry when you guys start picking and driving inside that 5-meter line. Yuri Van Vuren just has a magnet to your hip. He's driven you over for, is it 2 tries or 3 this year, with Yuri riding your back and just driving you over the line?
Yeah, so this was actually my first try of the season.
Was it you on his back on the other one then?
Yeah. The first
okay,
game,
so I got that crossed up the other way there.
So he sort of just paid me back for that one. So quite of a dynamic deal there. So we're happy to help each other out.
Just look at that Bruce blue scrum cap and just follow him to freedom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
As soon as I see that the blue scrum cap makes me, I know it's go time.
How are you guys holding up with every week is a tight game? The only game that wasn't decided by 7 points or fewer was when you guys beat Toronto by 15. So every week is tight, and the pressure mounts at the end of games. That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that speaks volumes of the standard of the MLR. I mean, there's no easy game in the MLR at the moment, and if you look at the results around the states, that there is no easy game, and that just shows. I mean, in a way, it sort of builds us for the playoffs. So we're getting used to playing close games, getting used to the pressure, sort of holding our teams. I mean, we've sort of done it all this season. We've come from behind. We've held a lead. We've gone 15+ points against Toronto. So we've sort of done it all. So this is sort of like prepping us for the playoffs, which obviously we want to make. So it's good preparation.
Talk about how you got connected with the Utah Warriors. How does that all come together? Coming from South Africa, obviously we have a great contingency of South African players on the team around our core of local players. Tell us that story about how you became a Warrior. How does that conversation get started?
Yeah, so my agent actually got into touch with Kimball, and sort of got into touch with him, and then sort of didn't really hear anything for about a week, and then all of a sudden I got a message from my good mate Franco van der Berg, who I used to play with under 19, and he's sort of sort of hearing your name around, what's going on. And then I got into touch with director of rugby Brandon Sparks, and sort of sent emails back and forth. And then I just late August, or around about then, I got a call from then head coach Chris Latham, and he was very excited to have me on board, and I grabbed the opportunity with both hands.
Well, it's been awesome to have you on this team. It's been incredible. You've been such a force. You're the MLR Player of the Week. Congratulations on that. Tell us about this Saturday. This is obviously a massive game with the LA Giltinis, and playing in SoFi Stadium is going to be pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that stadium, massive stadium, 70,000 seater. To be one of the first teams to put fans in, it's going to be amazing. They're going to come out and try and make a statement. They've just lost, and what better team to make a statement than the teams that take it? So they're going to come gunning for us. But we're prepared. We're not too focused on them. We've been focusing on ourselves this week, and just what we can do better, and what we can solidify that to show that we mean business in this league.
Let's talk about what some of these numbers mean to you here real quick. I got a couple of stats we're going to throw at you. Second in line-out steals, fourth in your own line-out takes with 33. You're sitting on 8 line-out steals right now. With all of the ups and downs going on with this Warriors line-out, you've been the most consistent weapon alongside with Matt Jensen in there. How do you read an opposition line-out to be able to make those steals? Because I used to jump in the line-out when I was 15, 16, and 100 and something pounds lighter than I am right now. And I never had that ability to be able to read an opposition's line out. What goes through your mind when you're doing that?
There's a lot of homework that goes into it. Sort of just checking cues. If there's anybody in the opposition lineup that sort of gives it away to which movement they're gonna do. And then of course my brilliant lifters. Lance has been brilliant in reading those and reacting to me calling him. Yuri's also really been really good. So all the credit can't go to myself, but just the line-out steals and just the line-out takes in itself. Just giving my team possession. We know how dangerous we can be with ball in hand. So just being able to give my team possession, that's what really matters to me.
It doesn't help when you're like 6'7" and your lifters are both 6'5" and you're 62 feet in the air. Good luck going over the top of these Warriors guys.
Yeah.
Well, Austin, we're so excited for what this team's doing. Couple of wins, with a bye week in between. Massive game with LA. Massive game with Austin coming up. So best of luck. Stay healthy and enjoy SoFi Stadium, and hopefully come home with a win, man.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Okay, that's Austin Fortuin, a lock from Cape Town, South Africa, joining us on Dub Nation, the MLR Player of the Week. We only have the best guests here on the show. We only have the Players of the Week, the try scorers, the line-out stealers. That's who we have on the show. So
creme de la creme, top shelf, baby.
Yep.
And if you want to look as good as these guys play, don't forget, we got this swag giveaway we're doing. We got a Belichick hoodie that you could get your hands on. All you have to do is share the Dub Nation show on Facebook with all of your friends. Spread the good gospel of the great game we play in heaven called rugby, or you can retweet the post of the game on Twitter and get that short sleeve hoodie and be all laced up and ready to go for our next home game at Zions Bank Stadium.
Okay, last thing before we go, a little Rugby 101. Drop goals. We talked about it. Old Glory DC made one. Drop goals. This is actually a thing you can do as a PAT, or you used to be able to in the NFL as well. We saw it from Doug Flutie one year, but explain what a drop goal is, Banksy.
A drop goal can be scored from anywhere on the field at any time in open play. Basically, all the player has to do is when he has the ball in hand, drop the point of the ball to the ground, and as it bounces, He can kick the ball over the crossbar between the sticks, and it's 3 points. It's one of 3 different times that we see a drop kick used in professional rugby. We see it on the kickoffs. It's the same drop kick on a 22-meter dropout to restart play, and on the drop kick for the goal. We saw it in this match, and it was a valuable 3 points that kept the match close for DC. I think it actually gave them the lead at that point. So it can come in clutch. We've seen World Cups won with drop kicks. Think to England and Johnny Wilkinson doing it and giving the Roses their big World Cup win. It can be a difference maker and a valuable asset and weapon to have in somebody's tool bag. And the teams that do it well can really hurt you with it.
And if a kicker's in a hurry, say you're down 2 scores and you just score, they won't place the tee. They'll just drop goal quick, get that ball back and start, which is kind of fun. So, okay, big game with LA Saturday. Let's go, baby. Dub Nation, we're with you. LA and Utah coming up Saturday, 8 Mountain Time on FS2. Number 1 in the West versus number 2 on FS2 and ESPN 960 and 700. Banksy and Ashley, I have a call on the radio, so best of luck there. And that'll do it for us. Like and share this episode of Dub Nation on Facebook and Twitter. A reminder to follow the Utah Warriors on social media and throughout the season on KSL Sports and ESPN 700. For Aston Fortine, Billy, the producer, and Banksy, and Ashley Burge, I'm Jeremy Jordan. Go Warriors!